Before we come to talk about the Wednesday, I just want to give us a heads up about what we're going to do on Good Friday. As usual, I'll talk for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to give us an opportunity to mark the 3 hours that Jesus hung in darkness from noon until 3 p.m. We're going to do that by observing 3 minutes of silence. It won't be empty silence. The bell behind me will give you just some idea of what we're going to do. I think it would be wonderful if a whole lot of us could do that at noon on Friday. If you like that idea, why don't you contact some friends and alert them, and we can all do it together. To do it properly, you need to be ready and in your seat by 11:45 with the phone turned off, and then start the video at 11:55, and then at noon we'll all observe silence together. And so we come to Wednesday. Wednesday is a day of darkness. We only know of one event that took place on the Wednesday. We find it in Mark and Luke. It was now 2 days before the Passover, that is Wednesday, and the chief priests and the scribes were seeking how to arrest him by stealth and kill him. Then Satan entered into Judas Iscariot. He went away and conferred with the chief priests and the officers, and they agreed to give him money, and he consented and sought an opportunity to betray him to them in the absence of a crowd. There were 3 sets of characters involved in the story. There were the priests. Their job was to work in the temple of God and act as mediators between God and human beings. It was a high and holy calling. And yet when the Messiah came, they didn't recognize him, and they planned great evil. The second group was the scribes. Their job was not just to write the law, as the name would suggest. It was to study the law day and night, and then to share with the people what they found. And the scriptures are full from beginning to end of very specific prophecies about the Messiah. But when he came, they didn't recognize him, and they planned great evil. And then there was Judas, who walked the sandy trails of Israel with Jesus for 3 years, saw his compassion, heard his wonderful teaching, saw his great miracles, and yet he turned away and planned great evil. Of course, there's a 4th character involved in the story, and it's Satan. Satan entered into Judas. I believe that all great evil has satanic power behind it. All the tyrants, I think, had demonic power behind them. When I look at Adolf Hitler and the way he uncannily escaped assassination, to me it's a case of the devil protects his own. Personally, I believe that every case of child sexual abuse has demonic activity involved. Now, we mustn't be over anxious. Satan can't just get into a Christian. There has to be an opening. Perhaps your parents or grandparents were involved in satanic or occult stuff. Perhaps you played glassy at school. But even then, Satan can't just get in. You have to give him an opening. And if you're afraid that something like this may be happening in your life, I would suggest getting the book by Neil Anderson, The Bondage Breaker. And that will tell you how to break that bondage, because it can be broken. And so Wednesday, a day of darkness, a day for us to contemplate the great evil of which the human race is capable. A day for us to show solidarity with the victims and pray for them. A day for us to pray for our world as Jesus taught us to pray every day. Deliver us from the evil one. Wednesday, a day of darkness. And it was to break that darkness that Jesus set his face steadfastly to Jerusalem and to a place called Calvary.